pertaining to our water testing laboratory, no? Ay, ano magagawa ko kung wala kayong internet connection? Sige lang, antayin lang natin sila. Papasok lang yan sila mamaya. Sino pa ang walang internet? Intindihin na lang natin na sa Pilipinas tayo. So, normal na yung ganyang scenario na walang internet connection. No? Wala talaga tayong magagawa naman. Unless may isa sa ating magpapatayo ng sariling network. No? Sige lang, let's wait for that. So, okay, yung nasabi ko ngayon, na-discuss natin yung different laws natin pertaining to our water testing laboratory. So, before we proceed to different laws, discuss muna natin yung mga different, yung mga water supplies natin here in the Philippines. So, okay. So, okay, for today, we're going to learn or we're going to discuss the water system in the Philippines, identify the sources of water contaminants and pollutants, and explain the pertinent laws and regulations on water supply natin dito sa Philippines. So, okay. So, first, water supply in the Philippines, no? Kung naririnig yung mga balita recently, no, pertaining sa nagkaroon ng baha somewhere in Luzon, no, due to yung mga release ng mga water sa dam or yung tinatawag nila na Angat Dam ba yan? Tama ba ako? No? Nag-release sila ng water from Angat Dam. That's why nagkaroon ng baha sa Cagayan and Isabela, Cagayan province. So, Angat Dam is one of the biggest water or yung dam natin sa Philippines wherein siya yung may pinakamalaking source ng water supply in Luzon, specifically in Luzon, no? So one of the source of water in the Luzon. That's why, no? Usually si Angat Dam is siya yung nagsusupply ng mga water sources or nagsusupply ng water sa mga irrigation system in Central Luzon, and at the same time, siya din yung nagsusupply aside from nagsusupply siya ng water, nagsusupply siya sa irrigation, siya din yung nagsusupply ng mga water doon sa yung mga ginagamit ng mga consumers or yung tinatawag natin yung parang dito sa atin, same sa atin dito na water district. So sa atin dito, meron din naman tayong tinatawag na dam, no? Somewhere in Silway, basta somewhere doon na part. Hindi ako masyadong familiar sa place. So, okay, so usually, water supply in the Philippines, your source is usually lakes, rivers, river basins, groundwater, and reservoir. So, usually, yung water supply natin, di ba sabi natin nag-originate siya, and usually, yung from doon sa sources ng water natin, no, usually from the sources of water, dadaan siya in different pumps or in different pumps, doon siya i-filter hanggang siya makarating sa consumer or yung sa mga bahay-bahay, no? Especially doon sa mga ginagamit natin ginagamit sa mga residential area. So yun yung nangyayari usually. So usually dumadaan siya in different filtration process bago siya makarating sa consumer or sa gumagamit. So usually, bago siya makarating sa inyo, like for example dito sa atin sa water district, no, bago siya makarating sa inyo as consumer or sa atin as consumer, dumadaan muna yan siya ng laboratory testing, yung water na sinusupply sa atin. So, yung nasabi ko yesterday, as what I've said yesterday, na dumadaan yan in different biological testing, chemical testing, and at the same time, bacteriologic testing. No, lahat ng water na isinusupply natin. So like for example, in case na nagkaroon yan siya ng contamination, no, ibig sabihin, hindi yan siya nanggagaling doon sa main supply ng water. So ibig sabihin, baka nagkaroon ng leak dyan sa inyong community or dyan sa inyo mismo sa bahay nyo. That's why nagkakaroon siya ng bacterial contamination, no? Yun mismo, yun minsan kaya nagkakaroon ng gastroenteritis or there are some cases na yung sabi nga nila na nagkaroon ng mga gastroenteritis due to water supply, no? So usually, hindi yan siya galing sa main source or if, usually galing lang yan siya within the community kasi there are some instances na nagkaroon ng contamination dyan lang sa inyo or nagkaroon ng leak yung pipe or yung pipe ng inyong yung line nyo mismo, no? So those are some example kasi nga lahat yan prior every 3 months or every 3 months dapat yung mga supply natin within the community dapat tinitest siya for bacteriological. So like for example, no, sa mga malalaking like sa hospital, every 3 months tinitest yan or water analysis yan. So same as with yung sa water district natin, nagpe-perform yan sila ng water analysis. That's why, kung mapapansin nyo, kung may kilala kayo nagtatrabaho sa water district, meron yan silang medtech dyan sa water district na ang trabaho lang is to perform yung mga series of tests doon sa water na sinusupply ng water district sa community. So yung part yun ng trabaho ng medtech sa water district. Sabi ko nga yesterday that ang alam ko lang na nag-test dito ng water analysis is si water district lang. I don't know with other laboratories and wala pa akong naririnig na laboratories na nagtitest dito sa atin sa Gensan ng water or water analysis, no? So lahat ng mga water refilling station, for example, yung mga water refilling station is dumadaan din yan sila ng series of water analysis prior sila makakuha ng permit na pwede silang magbenta ng water, no? Kasi kailangan din yan siya ng permit. So, okay. So, sabi ko nga yun, usually yun yung mga sources. So, this is to ensure that the quality of water is safe for human consumption. It has to undergo the process of filtration and purification as part of water treatment and sanitation. So, like for example, from the water dam, madami pa yan siyang dadaan ng process. Or yung sa pump 1, like for example sa pump 1, dito na process, if you filter siya, another filtration, or like for example doon sa mga places like in Saudi Arabia, dumadaan sila yung tinatanggalan nila ng salt, yung seawater. Kasi usually yung kanilang supply is from sea, no? Doon sa mga places na gano'n. That's why merong process na ganyan, na tinatanggalan siya ng mga salt, and then, yun yung isusupply nila sa community or doon sa consumer nila. Okay? Next is water services. Sabi ko nga kanina, so from yung sources ng water natin or source ng water natin, usually pupunta yan siya sa agricultural water management for irrigation. So, kung mapapansin nyo, there are places, no, like for example, dito sa atin sa Gensan, no, meron tayong irrigation system. Like for example, kung pupunta kayo ng Marbel, meron silang irrigation system. Under yan siya ng NIA or National Irrigation Administration, no, yung agricultural water management. So yun, same pa rin sa iniinom natin ng water. Lahat ng water nang gagaling doon sa mga dams and other water reservoir. No? Industries use in factories and industrial plants and mines, and at the same time domestic use. So usually daily consumption by residents and households. Yun na yung nakakarating sa atin, yung tinatawag natin na for domestic use na water services. So meron na tayong tatlo: agricultural, industries, and domestic use. Hindi pa ako nag-check attendance. Okay, good morning doon sa mga kakapasok lang. In a bit, mag-check tayo ng attendance. Okay? So yun, sabi nga nga, sources of yun yung mga water services natin. So, meron tayong, by the way, doon sa mga sources ng water natin, meron tayong mga, like for example, meron tayong mga hydroelectric power plant, no, na tinatawag. And at the same time, no, yung some of our water sources is, like for example, yung mga dam natin is ginagamit sila for flood control. But then again, there are some instances na hindi na siya kakayanin ng capacity ng dam. That's why, no, kung maririnig yun sa balita, yung Angat Dam is nag-release sila ng certain amount of water para siya hindi siya magkaroon ng structural damage yung dam. Kasi nga, pag nagkaroon ng structural damage yung dam, or pag nag-give up yung dam, may tendency na magkakaroon ng baha in the entire central Luzon. No? Like what happened to somewhere in USA, Colorado, na nag-give up yung or nasira yung dam, nagkaroon ng baha somewhere doon sa place na yon, and madaming tao ang affected, no? Okay, so usually there are some dams na provide ng hydroelectric power or hydroelectric power, like for example sa Maria Cristina Falls, di ba sabi natin yung electricity natin dito sa Mindanao is galing sa Maria Cristina po. So same as with sa other places like sa Baguio, meron silang tinatawag na hydroelectric power plants, no? Okay, so yun. Okay, next. Hindi pa ako nag-check attendance. Mag-check attendance pa ako maya-maya. Okay? Water provider. So, mayroon tayong mga different water providers, no? Non-governmental organization or NGOs, community-based organizations, yung mga local government units natin, water districts, small-scale independent providers, large-scale private operators, no? So, non-governmental organizations, so usually alternative supporting agencies of the government. So, their main concern is the provision of social services and basic needs like water to the communities. In community-based organizations, these organizations include cooperatives, barangay water service association, and rural water supply associations. They cater to the different barangays within the same locality. Like, so, for example, there are some subdivisions na hindi sila connected sa water districts. Hindi sila connected sa water districts. Sila mismo nagsusupply ng water for their community or for the entire subdivision. So, merong mga ganun, no? Local government units, management provision and maintenance of water supply to different districts. And next is yung small-scale independent providers natin. So when we say small-scale independent providers, homeowners, associations, individual entrepreneurs, real estate developers. So yun nga, sabi ko kanina, there are some subdivisions na under sila sa mga real estate developers, no? Small-scale independent providers. Pwede din silang community-based organization and next is yung other water district. So meron tayo dito, like for example, dito sa atin, and mostly, no, meron namang mga water districts in every municipality and cities, no? Government-funded and controlled municipal entities. So usually yung mga water districts is government-funded siya and controlled municipal entities. But then again, there are some water districts na naka-semi-private siya working hand-in-hand in some private organizations, no? Large-scale private operations. So like for example, yung large-scale private operations natin, Maynilad Water Services or MWSI and Manila Water Company. So ito sila is naka-privatize sila. No, but then again, kahit naka-privatize sila, pwede siyang i-control ng government yung prices nila, no? Yun is according yan, nakasaad yan sa law. Hindi sila basta-basta pwedeng mag-increase ng kanilang prices kasi nga it's for community siya or for ano tawag dito, hindi sila pwedeng mag-increase ng basta-basta na kanilang prices kasi nga kailangan mo nang nila ipa-approve sa government prior to the increase of the prices. Okay? So, water and its contaminants and pollutants, so meron tayong tinatawag na physical, chemical, and biological, no? Sabi nga natin kanina, there are some instances na where there are some water supplies na kailangan i-test yung chemical and dito kasi sa ating commonly na tinest is yung biological content ng ating water supply. But there are some na tinetest yung chemical and physical ng water supply. Like for example, sabi ko nga kanina, no, yung sa Saudi Arabia, so usually, tinetest nila yung chemical content kasi nga galing siya, seawater siya, na dinadaan nila sa osmosis wherein dinadaan nila sa series of process wherein tinatanggalan nila ng salt yung water para gawing para to supply water doon sa kanilang community. That's why tinetest nila yung mga chemical properties ng water. No, kasi nga hindi siya fresh water. Dito mostly kasi sa atin, like for example, itong galing sa mga water dam, most of the water kasi sa atin, like mga water dam, is fresh water sila. So, no, that's why most of the time yung tinetest lang natin is yung biological content of the water. So, ano-ano ba yung tinatawag nating physical, chemical, and yung biological content ng water natin? Or ano-ano yung tinetest from the, usually, physical pollution natin. No? Like, for example, ngayon, physical pollution, soil erosion, deforestation, produced by landslide, ionic radiation, solid particles, ito, solid particles, no? And usually effects nito, black rivers, aquatic plants death, river speed, modification, and change in aeration. Like for example, ngayon nangyayaring baha, no? Pwede natin siyang makonsider na as yung physical property ng water supply is pwede natin siya i-test. Kasi nga, di ba, according to Maynila, hindi sila ngayon pwedeng, during nung kasagsagan ng baha, hindi sila pwedeng mag-supply ng water na sabay-sabay in the entire Metro Manila. Kasi nga, yung physical properties ng water is hindi siya, or kumbaga kailangan siya ng mahaba-habang process kasi nga due to physical pollution or yung mga physical pollution na makakasira doon sa mga machine na nag-filter doon sa water supply. So, yun. Next is chemical pollutants. So, itong chemical pollutants or inorganic chemicals, heavy metals, or yung mga lead, mercury, cadmium, nickel, acids from mine drainage, sulfuric acid, and acid precipitation, and yung mga salts na tinatawag natin. So sabi ko nga kanina, yung mga salts or yung sodium content, calcium chloride, usually ito siya yung tinitest na mga chemical pollutants doon sa Saudi Arabia, sa mga Qatar, kasi nga usually yung mga water nila is galing siya sa dagat. Yun yung sinusupply nila sa kanilang community. No? Organic chemicals, examples, petroleum products, pesticides, PCBs, cleaning solvents, and detergents. So ito sila yung mga organic chemicals. That's why, di ba, nowadays is binabawal na maglaba using yung detergent sa mga river. Kasi nga, these detergents can consider as yung chemical pollutants, no? Nakakasira siya ng river. That's why merong batas wherein ipinagbabawal, no, sa mga river banks na maglaba, no, using yung mga detergents. Okay? So, yan sila yung ating mga chemical pollutants. So, when we say biological pollutants, so like for example, dito sa atin, no, dito sa atin yung chemical, organic chemicals na sinasabi natin, yung mga pesticides, no, usually ito siya ginagamit sa mga farming, no? Usually yung sa mga irrigation systems, no? Usually yung, like for example, tinatapon lang nila, yung mga lalagyan ng mga herbicides or yung mga pesticides doon sa mga irrigation system that can cause chemical pollutants. Okay, next, biological pollutants. So ito na yung, sabi ko nga, tinitest natin inside the laboratory usually yung mga biological pollutants natin. Like for example, yung mga bacteria, commonly na tinitest natin na biological pollutants inside the laboratory is yung mga bacteria. Like for example, E. coli, yung mga salmonella, yun yung commonly na tinitest natin sa water, no? Sila yung common na tinitest natin sa water. Yung mga Shigella and other bacteria na makakakos ng ano tawag dito, dysentery, no? Sila yung commonly na tinitest dito sa atin sa biological pollutants. So example, sabi ko nga, bacteria, mold, mildew, viruses, cockroaches, animal dander, and pollen, house dust, and mites. So sila yung usually yung mga biological pollutants natin na tinatawag. Okay, so water pollutants, meron tayong, I think, meron tayong 6 category of yung tinatawag natin na water pollutants. So enter our first category, bacteria, virus, fungi, and parasites. So they are they may enter the sewage system and untreated waste natin. No? Ito sila under the first category. Under second category, oxygen demanding waste. The situation usually occurs when population of bacteria lives in this waste that deplete oxygen levels in the water. And the third category is water-soluble inorganic pollutants like acids or acid, base salts, and toxic metals. Yung sinasabi nga natin kanina, yung mga lead, so part sila ng tinatawag natin na inorganic pollutants. Okay, next, fourth category. Under fourth category natin, yung nutrients, water-soluble nitrites, and phosphates that usually deplete oxygen water supply in the water. And fifth category, or yung organic substance such as oils and pesticides. So ito naman common itong mga ito. Like for example, nagkakaroon ng mga oil spills. So makonsider natin sila na nasa fifth category sila ng water pollutants natin. No? And yung mga pesticides nga na sinasabi ko, pesticides, herbicides, no, kasama sila sa dito sa atin sa fifth category natin under organic substances. Sixth category natin is yung mga radioactive compounds. Okay? So, sources of water pollutants, no? Sabi ko nga kanina, farming, pesticides, and herbicides. So, when we say herbicides, yun yung ginagamit nila na pamatay ng mga damo. No? Herbicides, farmer also utilize fertilizers harmful to humans. Kasi meron yan silang ginagamit na yung mga fertilizers wherein ginagamit nila like yung mga kuhol, no? So, makonsider natin yun sila na organic pollutants, yung mga ganun like pesticides and herbicides. So, usually, very common ito sa mga areas na medyo marami pang mga rice fields, no? Very common itong farming na source of water pollutants natin, no? Like for example, no? Di ba usually nagsisprayan sila ng palay? Unlike like for example doon sa mga places wherein, like for example sa mga mais, di ba gumagamit din sila ng mga pesticides and herbicides. But then again, wala kasi siyang water, so hindi siya mahahalo sa water doon sa mga part na yun. Unlike kung yung mga farming na tinatawag natin yung sa mga rice fields, no, meron kasi siyang water supply. That's why yung mga herbicides and pesticides is, and at the same time yung mga fertilizers, mahahalo siya sa water and then makakakuha siya ng, of course, magiging source siya ng water pollutants natin. Next is business, power plants, food industries, manufacturers, and manufacturers of finished product. Di ba kung mapapansin nyo, no? There are some factory where inilalabas nila yung mga waste product nila sa dagat. No, but then again, meron itong isang lower in bago mo siya, dapat dadaan mo na siya sa filtration process bago mo siya i-release yung water sa dagat or i-release yung water sa sea. Doon, especially doon sa mga places na, or doon sa mga businesses na, or mga industries na we're in, nagpo-produce ng mga waste product, no? Yung mga water na waste products, no? Kasi nga, meron yung isang lower in, dapat yung water na i-release nila sa river and at the same time na i-release nila sa dagat is kailangan mo nang dumaan sa filtration process. Like for example, dito sa atin sa Jansa, no? Yung mga waste or yung mga water na galing sa bahay natin, no? Usually dumadaan yan. Like for example dito, along Santiago Boulevard, meron yan silang tinatawag dyan wherein palengke na tinatawag nila na parang filtration din siya, pinifilter mo na ang water bago i-release sa dagat. No? Dumadaan siya sa filtration process para yung mga ma-remove yung mga pollutants. Okay, households, sewage generated by houses or run off from septic tanks into nearby waterways causes eutrophication. Okay? Next, no, yung mga pertinent laws natin pertaining to yung mga regulations of water supply. So meron tayong first is yung Presidential Decree number 856 o ito yung tinatawag na Code of Sanitation of the Philippines, no? This Presidential Decree 856 was enacted to promote the healthy and safe consumption of water, no? And regulation is vested in the Secretary of the OH by the virtue of Section 4 of the Code. And at the same time, Article 2, under Article 2 of Presidential Decree number 856, wherein kailangan mag-set ng, yung DOH kailangan mag-set ng standards and procedures pertaining or regarding to the microbiological and chemical analysis of drinking water. So that's under yung Article 2 ng ating Presidential Decree 856 wherein yung DOH was tasked to standardize and at the same time standardize and the procedures regarding the microbiological and chemical analysis of our drinking water. So, yun. So, under our water examination, usually under water examination, as what I've said nga, kailangan or under water examination, usually is required for drinking water. Like for example, yung mga sabi ko as what I've mentioned nga kanina, lahat ng mga refilling station, like refilling station na nagpo-produce ng mga bottled water, kailangan muna nilang magkaroon ng water analysis na result bago sila makapag-open. And at the same time, meron yan silang tinatawag na monitoring wherein every month kailangan nilang magpa-water analysis. That's why, kailangan nilang lahat ng mga faucet nila na ginagamit within the refilling station or like, for example, in some hospitals, ginagawa nila yan na tinitest nila lahat ng mga water supplies nila. Like, for example, yung mga water dispenser, there are some companies na tinitest nila yan for bacteriological or biological examination, yung for water or pinapa-water analysis nila. So, like for example, usually initial examination, sabi ko nga for our water analysis, it's usually physical, chemical, and yung tinatawag natin biological examination of water from yung newly constructed system or sources, are required, sabi ko nga, prior to the operation. Like, or prior sila mag-serve to the public. Like, for example, sabi ko yung mga water refilling. So, prior silang makapag-supply ng water or prior sila makapagbenta ng water, kailangan nila munang magpa-water analysis, Wherein, sabi ko nga dito sa atin sa Jensen, alam ko lang na nag-water. I don't know with this district hospital or yung Dr. George Breca Hospital kung meron silang water analysis. But then again, sabi ko nga, usually ang alam ko lang na pwede ka magpa-water analysis is doon sa water district. Usually ginagawa yan siya, according kasi sa law natin, kailangan siyang periodic examination of water from yung existing sources nila for bacteriological examination, para malaman yung may mga possible contamination. So, dapat hindi siya sumobra ng 6 months. Yung sabi ko nga, there are some na kailangan every 3 months, kailangan nilang magpo-water analysis. Kasi nakalagay yan siya sa law natin under dito sa Presidential Decree 856 natin. Okay?
Isa ate. Isa lang.
Okay, next, another pertinent laws and regulations on water supply natin is yung Administrative Order number 31 series of 1975. Series of 1979. So usually, prescribe the rules and regulations governing the accreditation of water analysis laboratory. So dito napapasok si DOH natin under Administrative Order number 31, series of 1979. Wherein si kailangang mag-abide ng mga ano tawag dito, yung mga water refilling station and nagpo-produce ng mga, especially nagpo-produce ng mga water supply natin. No, kailangan nilang mag-abide doon sa ina-set na standard ng ano tawag dito, na-set na standard ng Department of Health. No, like for example, sabi ko nga, under dito sa Administrative Order number 31, no, merong mga accreditation. So same as with yung sa ating mga clinical laboratory, di ba meron tayong tinatawag na accreditation of our clinical laboratory prior to the operation, kailangan muna natin mag-apply for permit. Same as with pa rin dito sa ating water analysis laboratory wherein kailangan din natin mag-apply for license to operate prior tayo makapag-operate ng water analysis laboratory, no? Same as with yung mga blood banks natin, no? Kailangan din natin mag-abide doon sa mga na-set na standard ng, later i-discuss natin yan kung ano-ano yung mga requirements prior to yung pag-put up ng ating water analysis laboratory under our Administrative Order 2006 series 2006-0024. No, i-discuss natin mamaya yan kung ano-ano yung mga requirements under Administrative Order 24 series of 2006. Yung mga rules and regulation governing the accreditation of laboratories for drinking or for water analysis laboratories. So later, i-discuss natin yan. So, okay. So, yun nga, under dito, prescribe the rules and regulation governing the accreditation of water analysis laboratories, no? And at the same time, kailangan, pag mayroong water analysis laboratory, same as with yung other, like for example, with other section in our laboratories, usually this water laboratory or water analysis laboratories is under sila ng bacteriology section, no? But there are some institutions, especially in yung mga bigger hospitals, is nakaseparate talaga yung water analysis laboratory. Kasi this water analysis laboratory usually is yung license to operate nila is separate, is different from the license to operate ng the entire laboratory and at the same time ng blood bank. So they can operate as freestanding or they can operate as yung nasa hospital base sila, no? Itong water laboratory or water analysis laboratories natin. Okay? Another pertinent laws and regulation on water supply natin, 1976 National Water Code or yung tinatawag natin na Presidential Decree 1067. So under this Presidential Decree 1067, no, this Presidential Decree 1067 took effect December 31, 1976 under the administration of former President Ferdinand Marcos. So this code was enacted on the premise that all the water supply of the Philippines belong to the state, and then took effect when there was scarcity and patterns or levels of water supply fluctuated. And usually naman, nagkakaroon ng scarcity of water supply, especially in Luzon, no? Luzon area, usually dito naman sa atin, hindi naman tayo masyadong affected. But then again, usually lang naman, ang affected naman during yung mga dry season, affected or merong scarcity of water supply is yung mga yung irrigation natin, usually yung mga farmers, yung affected during yung mga period na ganyan. So sila yung nagkakaroon, yung pinaka-affected, especially dito sa atin in our areas. But in Metro Manila, usually, ang pinaka-affected sila kanila aside from yung, sabi ko nga, aside from yung mga farmers, usually, especially in Luzon, no, aside from farmers, usually ang affected sa kanila, pati the entire community is affected once na nagkaroon ng scarcity of water, no? Especially during dry season. No? This code also created the National Water Resources Council to control and regulate water resources in the country. Actually, sa atin dito, hindi natin siya masyadong problema yung mga sources of water natin, no? But then again, there are some places na, like for example, alam niyo ba na sa Singapore, no? Yung water supply nila is nanggagaling pa ang iba sa Malaysia. No? Nanggagaling pa sa Malaysia yung kanilang water supply. Naririnig yun ako ulit. Okay na. Okay, sorry nawala. Ayun nga sabi ko, no? Yung sa Singapore, mas maswerte na lang tayo kasi marami tayong water supply dito sa Philippines, no? But then again, due to some water supply natin, nagkakaroon tayo usually ng baha and other calamities, no? But then again, sabi ko nga a while ago na si Singapore, yung ibang water supply nila is nanggagaling pa sa Malaysia. Kasi nga dati, export pa sila ng Malaysia until such time na naging separate na sila sa Malaysia. Same as, sabi ko nga, yung Saudi and Qatar and other yung mga country na like Saudi is nanggagaling yung water supply nila from, ano tawag dito, from sa dagat. Ayan. Hindi pa ako nag-check attendance days ha. Mag-check attendance pa ako after pa nito. Okay, and other pertinent laws and regulations on our water supply is yung Philippine Water Act of 2004 or ang RA 9275 natin. So under our RA 9275 or also known as Water Act of 2004, no? It provides consistent protection, preservation, and revival of the quality of water system in the Philippines. So usually mandates a comprehensive water quality management policy. So ito under our RA 9275. And the main focus of this act is water quality management system and international mechanisms and standard of our water supply here in the Philippines. No? Usually, under this or sila yung mandates yung comprehensive water quality management system policy natin based doon sa Presidential Decree 856 natin or yung kailangan ng examination ng water supply sa laboratory, no? It's either private or government-owned siya, na as long as accredited siya ng Department of Health. Okay? So before we proceed to our next stop, mag-check muna, attendance muna tayo, and then may ipapakita akong video. I don't know kung mag-play siya dito. itong video para makita niyo kung paano yung process ng bakit siya ganyan. Ulit lang para makita niya yung video. After ng checking of attendance na lang natin. And then after natin mag-check attendance, ito-discuss natin yung Administrative Worker 24 series of 2006 natin. Hindi ako putol-putol. Okay lang. Okay lang. Okay, today is Friday, November 20. Kindly acknowledge kung nandyan kayo. Wait lang ha.
For the past 5 years, California is experiencing permanent damage to its ecosystems, resources, and ruin the state.
Naririnig niyo?
With an ocean out of water. Well,
Maingat, ma'am.
Hina lang mo. May naririnig kayo? Wait
it's
sandali.
already used in some parts.
May naririnig kayo? May audio na. Mahina yung audio. Sandali. Lakasan natin yung audio natin. Ayan, may naririnig na kayo.
Salt, other minerals, and microbes from seawater. The water is pumped through a bunch of semi-permeable membranes, which contain tiny pores that let water molecules pass through, but filter out other particles if they're too big or charged. The water that gets forced through the membranes becomes usable
Okay,
freshwater.
balik natin.
And with an ocean, the ecosystems threaten its precious freshwater resources and ruin the state's many, many crops. But maybe you're thinking, how can a state that shares 1,350 kilometers of coastline with an ocean be out of water? Well, ocean water is full of salt, that's how. But it doesn't have to stay that way, because there's a process called desalination, which removes the salt from the seawater to make it drinkable. It's already used in some parts of the world on a large scale, so now both scientists and citizens are wondering whether desal, as it's sometimes called, can help California out of its drought. So let's take a look at how desalination currently works. There are 5 different methods used in facilities around the world to extract pure water from seawater, but over 80% of the world's desalinated water is produced by just 2 of these methods. They're known as reverse osmosis and multi-stage flash. Reverse osmosis uses pressure to remove salt, other minerals, and microbes from seawater. The water is pumped through a bunch of semi-permeable membranes, which contain tiny pores that let water molecules pass through, but filter out other particles if they're too big or charged. The water that gets forced through the membranes becomes used as fresh water. But the leftover water is just so salty and full of other junk that it's too expensive to extract any more fresh water, so it's sent off to a separate treatment plant. This extremely salt-saturated water is known as concentrated or brine. In a multi-stage flash, seawater is brought to a boil multiple times as it travels through a series of chambers, creating some water vapor and immediately dissolves salts in the liquid. Fresh water is collected as the water vapor rises atop of these chambers and condenses. The leftover brine is either recycled in other parts of the system or disposed of somehow. These technologies have been effectively used in thirsty countries around the world. For example, the Ras Al Khair desalination plant in Saudi Arabia uses both reverse osmosis and multi-stage flash processes. It's capable of pumping out about 1 billion cubic desalinated water every day. Israel, meanwhile, Sarik desalination plant uses reverse osmosis exclusively and can supply around 620,000 cubic meters of fresh water per day to the country's water system. So why don't we use this stuff to solve California's drought problem? Well, even the biggest desal plants in the world are only supplemental. They don't make enough water to support an entire population. The Carlsbad desalination plant in California, for instance, helping produce fresh water through reverse osmosis, but at best, it provides less than 10% of regional water demand. Desalinating seawater can also be twice as expensive as treating other water sources like rainwater or wastewater. On a large scale, most of that expense comes from the energy that's needed or applied pressure to. According to some estimates, it takes about $25,000 worth of electricity per month to produce enough desal water for only 1,200 homes. Plus, there's the problem of how to process all that leftover brine. You can't just dump it back into the ocean because levels of salt have been shown to be coal and seagrass. Finally, there are logistics to consider. Most of California's water is used for agriculture, but the state's growers would be largely unaffected by any effort to desalinate seawater. Why? Most California farms are inland, not even close to the ocean, which is really where you'd want to put a desalination plant. So, to help quench California's thirst, we're going to have to try new desal technologies. One promising technique scientists are developing in California is solar desalination. It harnesses the thermal energy of the sun to power a desalination plant. An example of this would be a multiple effect distillation plant, which is a lot like multi-stage flash, except the steam in the first stage, boil water in the second stage. The second stage is boil water in the third stage, and so solar desal may be able to make clean water at lower cost than conventional less brine. Some companies even estimate around 93% of the salt water being turned into fresh water. For now, though, the costs and logistical problems of desalinating seawater are just too big to solve problems like the California drought. But with more research and ingenuity, desal plants can provide at least some relief to drought-stricken communities. Thanks for watching this episode of SciShow, brought to you by our patrons on Patreon. If you want to help support the show, just go to patreon.com.
Okay. So yun, usually yung process ay nagaputol-putol. Sorry. Ano yun, Miss Johnson? Sige, try ko mamaya i-upload yung ano kasi siya, nakalagay kasi siya sa PowerPoint ko and hindi siya ma-upload dito sa as presentation yung video. No, masyado siyang ma-artisty. Big blue button. Sige. Mamaya, hanapin ko yung link na ano na ito. So, okay, yun yung process. So, usually, yung desalination, ginagawa yan doon sa mga places wherein masyadong kumbaga mahirap yung water supply. Like for example, yan din ginagawa nila. Yung sa mga barko, ganyan din ginagawa nila, especially pag maubusan sila ng water supply. Ginagamitan nila ng steam para makapag-produce sila ng fresh water. No? Ganyan yung ginagawa nila. But then again, pag dumaan sa desalination yung water, hindi ibig sabihin, hindi nyo na siya malalasahan yung para siyang salty pa rin yung water. Like for example, sa Malaysia, there are some places in Malaysia na ganyan yung ginagawa nila. Nagkakaroon or dumadaan ng osmosis yung mga water supply nila. Same as with sa Singapore. That's why minsan pag naliligo ka, mafe-feel mo yung water na medyo salty siya. Okay? So next is to discuss natin yung ating Administrative Order 2006 series Administrative Order 24 Series of 2006, no? Or yung Rules and Regulation governing the accreditation of laboratories for drinking water analysis. So dito napapasok usually yung ating mga bacteriological examination wherein ginagawa natin yan inside the laboratory natin. So usually, later on, pag mag-undergo kayo ng bacteriology nyo, more or less madadaanan nyo itong water analysis natin, no? Sana magawa nyo ito sa bacteriology nyo, no? Wherein, i-analyze natin yung bacteriological content ng mga water natin. So later on sa bacteriology natin, hopefully, or sa bacteriology nyo pala, hopefully magawa nyo ito. Okay? So yun, part ito siya ng process. So usually yung water analysis, that's why there are some laboratories na ayaw nilang mag-perform ng water analysis kasi medyo mahaba yung process. No? Medyo mahaba yung process ng water analysis. And marami kang ipiprepare na culture media and yung mga broth and media na ipiprepare. Medyo marami kang ipiprepare, no? For the set procedure. That's why there are some laboratories na ayaw nilang mag-perform. Okay, so this administrative order, okay, this administrative order is para to secure public health and safety. So under Presidential Decree 856, as what I mentioned kanina, na or also known as our Sanitation Code of the Philippines, that this Sanitation Code of the Philippines mandates the Department of Health to accredit all the laboratories performing examination of drinking water in accordance with the national drinking water standards. No? That's why CDOH under Bureau of Health and Facility Services, or yung under ng DOH natin, wherein sila yung nag-release ng license to operate doon sa mga water testing laboratory, no? This law is mandated by yung Presidential Decree 856, wherein minandate nila si DOH na kailangan nilang i-accredit lahat ng mga laboratory na nagpa-perform ng water analysis. Same as with yung sa ating drug testing, di ba? It's mandated by the law na kailangan mag-undergo ng accreditation and dapat nasa standard siya yung lahat ng laboratory na nagpa-perform ng water analysis. Same as with doon sa ating drug testing laboratories, no? And at the same time, as what we mentioned kanina, under Administrative Order number 31, wherein containing or nag-contain ng mga requirements si Administrative Order for the accreditation of water analysis laboratory, no? Wherein, under doon sa ating Administrative Order number 31 kanina, nasabi nga natin, lahat ng mga requirements for accreditation of water analysis laboratory must be implemented by the Bureau of Research and Laboratories under our Department of Health, or yung Bureau of Research and Laboratories of the Department of Health. No? Okay? And at the same time, no, this law was promulgated to promote the safety and potability of drinking water in a public health concern, and at the same time to safeguard the reliability of results generated by the testing facilities or ng mga laboratories na dapat nakapag-comply sila with the quality standards stated doon sa National Drinking Water Standards natin, no? And at the same time, na-reach nila yung standard na na-set ng National Drinking Water Standards and at the same time ng Department of Health, no? And kailangan so that para ma-safeguard yung quality of water na sinusupply natin doon sa community. Okay? So the objective of this Administrative Order 24 series of series of 2006 is to protect the public health, safety, and welfare, no? By, of course, ensuring the quality, by ensuring the accuracy, precision, and reliability of all the tests generated by the all laboratories na nag-ooperate for water testing laboratories, no? Of course, through the formulation and enforcement of the standards for accreditation. So the scope and coverage of this Administrative Order 24 Series of 2006 is enforcement of drinking water standards to all testing laboratories nationwide. No? So that's why under this Administrative Order 2004, lahat ng kasi during the mga time na ito, dito na uso yung mga ang tawag dito, yung mga water refilling station. Kasi noon hindi naman masyadong uso or hindi naman masyadong marami yung water refilling station. Kasi during this time, nung year na ito, dito na time medyo dumami yung mga water refilling station. That's why under this administrative order, no, na nag-enforce sila ng law wherein kailangan lahat ng mga nagsusupply ng drinking water, dapat aabot sila doon sa standard na sinet nung or kailangan i-comply nila lahat ng standards ng Philippine National Standards for Drinking Water. No, that's why nagkaroon ng Presidential or Administrative Order 24 Series of 2006. No? And there's also yung scope nitong Administrative Order 24 Series of 2006, no? The operation of yung mga also ito covers the operation of government agencies under the various government, national agencies, and department as well as those under the local government of the province, city, municipalities na nagsusupply ng water that all government and private institution kailangan nilang mag-abide doon sa technical guidelines and standards na minandate ng Department of Health. And at the same time, dapat naka-abide sila doon sa Philippine National Standards for Drinking Water. No? Okay? So like for example, under sa administrative order niya dito, exempted, di ba sabi natin last time, under yung sa clinical laboratory laws natin, wherein yung mga laboratories purely for academic training is exempted sila for this, for the yung mag-secure ng license to operate. So same as with dito sa ating water analysis laboratories, yung mga laboratories na purely for academic training and at the same time yung mga research laboratories na nagpe-perform in-house, like for example dito sa atin sa school, like for example nagpe-perform tayo sa laboratory natin ng mga water analysis, then hindi tayo governed ng administrative order na law. Kasi according dito sa administrative order number 24 series of 2006 is lahat ng mga laboratory na purely academic training and research is exempted sila sa sa law na ito. Same as with yung sa ating clinical laboratory law. Diba na-mention natin yun that last time that lahat ng mga laboratories na purely for academic is exempted to secure a license to operate. So same as with this. Like for example, yung mga drug testing yung pinaperform natin sa laboratories natin sa taas, then exempted tayo to secure a license to operate. But then again, kasi under tayo ng Commission on Higher Education. But then again, kailangan nating mag-abide doon sa memorandum order na isinet ng Commission on Higher Education. That's why tayo is hindi tayo govern ng rules and regulations under dito sa ating under dito sa accreditation of laboratories for drinking water analysis. Okay? Next is definition of terms. When I say accreditation, so same pa rin doon last time, no? Accreditation, kailangan natin mag-undergo ng accreditation from the Department of Health. So, formal authorization is issued by the Department of Health to an individual, partnership, corporation, or association seeking to perform drinking water. No? Applicants, who are those applicants? Of course, yung mga mag-apply for license, no? To operate, no? Yung mga, or individual or partnership na magpapa-accredit or mag-operate and maintain a drinking water testing facility. Bureau of Health Facilities and Services, of course, sila yung nag-exercise ng regulatory function provided by the law. No? Sila yung nag-release ng license to operate doon sa mga laboratories na, or doon sa mga magpuput up ng drinking laboratory facilities natin or yung mga laboratories na perform ng water analysis. Next is Department of Health, of course. Sila yung nagre-regulate ng lahat ng mga licenses. Aside from licenses, hindi lang naman laboratories ang handle nila, no? Next is yung laboratory. Of course, this laboratory is refers to yung laboratory or drinking laboratory facility, no? It's either nagpa-perform ng bacteriological, biological, physical, chemical, or radiological analysis or combination. It's either of the following, no? To determine the potability and safety of water. No? So yun yung ating laboratory. Or NRL, alam niyo na itong NRL, no? Your National Reference Laboratory natin, no? So usually, National Reference Laboratory natin or NRL natin under yung water testing natin. Same pa rin, nasa lung center pa rin ito sila. Especially once na yung doon sa toxicology and micronutrient assay natin sila i-categorize. Like for example, sa NRL pa rin, once na nag-positive yung sample from different water supply, no, usually nag-undergo din yan ng series of confirmatory testing. No? Doon pa rin natin siya ipapadala sa National Reference Laboratory natin. No, PNSDW or yung Philippine National Standards for Drinking Water Quality Manual. So ito, alam niyo na itong quality manual, kung ano yung content ng inyong quality manual, no? Tawag dito, sa laboratory management nyo, I know na i-discuss nyo ito kung ano yung laman ng quality manual. Tama ba ako? Aware kayo kung anong laman ng quality manual nyo? Aware kayo kung anong laman ng quality manual, no? No, dito under our quality manual, of course, dito, no, lahat ng mga documents were in stating the quality policy or yung quality system and yung mga quality procedure, and at the same time yung overall planning and administration activities of the laboratory, no? Part yun siya ng quality manual natin. Okay, since it's already 11:55, no? Tomorrow, i-continue natin yung ating discussion under dito sa ating administrative order. Ay, sorry, tomorrow, hindi pala. Hindi pala tomorrow, sorry. Next week, no, since magto-12 na and you still have class after this, no, next week, i-discuss natin yung some policies and guidelines pertaining to drinking water or laboratories for drinking water analysis, and yung mga classification of water analysis lab, and other concerns pertaining to water analysis laboratory, yung mga personnel, yung mga, of course, yung mga certification and accreditation, and yung ating quality management and monitoring. So, okay? So, tomorrow, i-discuss natin yan lahat. Ay, sorry na. 30 pa lang. Okay? So, yan lang muna for now. Is there any question before we end with our conference? Is there any question? By the way, i-upload ko ito kasama nung updated natin na yung sa drug testing. RA 9165. Is there any question before we end with our conference? None naman. Okay, kung wala na, yun lang muna for now, and thank you everyone. Keep safe. Enjoy your lunch. Bye. Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Ano po ba? Paibig nga.
Bek, ahog si kuya, Bek. Maguna si kuya.
Sabi.